So most people do not know how to find upcoming meme coins and Solana tokens before they've done the 50x, before they've done the 100x, before they've done the 1000x, or even, I'm going to show you an example in this video, before they've done a 37,000x. We're going to break down the tools, the methods, the narratives, how to identify these tokens way before they hit the mainstream news cycle, way before they hit the centralized exchanges and get all the normies and the retail money in. That's when we're going to be getting out of these tokens with our, fingers crossed, 37,000 X's. That would be pretty crazy. I mean, what's not crazy is last night I made about $15,000 in the trenches with with 3 tokens, but 1 token and 2 derivative tokens of that. We're going to get into all this as we go through, but that's not a flex, guys. I mean, $15,000 in a night, fantastic. It's been great. People are making way more than that. My friend who actually put me onto the token crushed it. I said, how much would you say you've made with the 3 tokens, the main token, UFD, and then the 2 derivatives? He said he turned 12K into 62.4K. And just 12 minutes later, he went from 62.4K to $68,000. This is, guys, within 24-hour period. That's how much opportunity there is in a bull market with tokens like this to make crazy amounts of money. Let's have a look at this one token. This is the UFD token. Again, we're going to talk more specific tokens in a bit. I'm just trying to bait you into watching this full video because there's crazy amounts of money to be made. Have a look at some of the top traders of the token. In 24 hours, 640 grand, 400 grand, 340 grand, 310 grand, 300 grand, 200 grand, 200 grand, 200 grand, 200 grand. These guys made this. This is all US dollars overnight. And the big dog of all of them, if you follow Kakashi on Twitter, he'll post all the best results from the trenches, $283 US to $2.3 million in 24 hours with this exact same token, UFD. Again, we're going to talk about exactly how to find tokens like this, what to look for, what tools to use. That's what you got me here for. Just hit the subscribe button, the like button. We've got a killer video ahead because what we're trying to do here, and I've got lots of cool graphics to show you. I've whipped them up this morning at the cafe. We're trying to go from being the exit liquidity, from being the retail money, the people who hear the narratives last. This is the next Dogecoin. Oh, no way, this is the next Dogecoin. Let me buy in. Sorry, bro, you're the last person to hear that narrative, and everyone else got in a week ago, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, and they're up 100x. And when you buy in, they're just going to sell their tokens, take their 100x, and move on to the narrative that is new and that is fresh. So this whole video, the trenches are done up here, guys. The 100x range is the trenches. And everyone has that friend who's like, oh my God, did you hear about the squirrel that got kidnapped by the police and then passed away? It's an injustice. It's crazy. And there's a token about him. It's absolutely absurd. And he's yelling this theory, but up here at a $2.2 billion market cap. After this token's run, it's probably a 74,000x. I'm going to go through the full math together and show you how to get in way before this happens. But yeah, cool narrative, but you're just way too slow. This guy here was not too slow. This guy, Remy Rai, is a micro-cap wizard because micro-cap refers to the size of the market cap of the token you're trading. The large market cap token, such as a $2 billion token, has been already realized because it started at a $50,000 market cap on Pumpfun, which again, we're going to talk about all this. Cold Peanut at a $27,000 market cap. Again, this is a little bit meta for you because he tweeted about me making a video about him. So here I am, a really good shot of me down there. But you can see he cold peanut at a $27,000 market cap. It ran to 140, which is where I covered it. I actually remember covering it at about $70 million market cap. Today it hit $1 billion. Remember, it went on to do a $2 billion, as we saw. 37,000x call at the $1 billion, 74,000x on the $2 billion, which, guys, if you put $10 on a 74,000x call, you've made $750,000. Officially his greatest call ever. Congrats to Remy. We're going to be taking our talents to the trenches together so we can discover how to find these gems like Peanut, where you can get a 37,000x before they hit centralized exchanges and people are ranting and raving about getting the 5x as a 2x. I mean, a 40% return. Some people are like, oh my God, Pepe's flying. It's gone up 40%. Sure, that's fun. That's decent. It's better than the S&P 500. But we're going to be breaking down this green box because this is the Peanut, the Squirrel, the Peanut token. This is how it ran up from November 1st to November 13 days. It went from $0 50K market cap up to a 300 or 400 mil market cap, that is where most of the returns are going to be found. From a 400 mil market cap to a 2 bill or 2.5 bill, that's only a 5 or a 6x on your money. Again, if you want to do some math here, if you put $100 into a 37,000%, and my math's right, it might not be fully right, but I'm pretty sure that's a $3.7 million that you can take out from $100. Where if you put it here on a 5x, you can take out $500 from 100. And we're not the only people who think the trenches are where most of the money is made. Andrew Tate said trenches. Here he is down in the trenches. Luke Belmar said, imagine chasing girls when you could be in the trenches achieving generational wealth. That was literally 4 days ago from Crypto God John says the trenches are hot. Aped a coin, went to the gym, it ripped a 15x. You don't see that on centralized exchanges. Ilya Trage says, I finally realized that none of the leaders of this industry truly understand the markets. You need to be in the trenches to get to know how this stuff works. Most crypto CEOs are as clueless as CNBC anchors. Okay, let me show you the flow of the token going from trenches, from the $50,000 market cap, all the way up to the $2 billion market cap, like the example we're using in this video together, Peanut. So the trenches down here are both Pump.Fun. There's a couple of alternatives for this too, and we're specifically talking Solana in this. Pump.Fun, you got something like Moonshot, which you can also use, but Pump.Fun is the main one. Onto something called Dex Screener. I'm going to go through these tools in just a second. Once the normies arrive, once the retail money arrives, and you saw that on Peanut where it had that 5x, this is the red zone. This is when it starts to get listed on a centralized exchange and a lot of extra people get access to it. So, but you have to realize that almost all successful Solana tokens that are reaching those $1 billion market caps started on Pump.Fun. And how do you know if they did or didn't start on Pump.Fun? Well, this is Peanut the Squirrel once again. Come down to its contract address. You can see it's on Solana and the contract address ends in Pump. This is a little feature, cool, an awesome feature that Pump do, that if you're launching the token on Pump.Fun, which I've mentioned it enough, but here's the actual website. It looks like you can have an absolute fit because it's just flashing and everything's going crazy. It really is like a casino over here. And this is where a lot of tokens get started because you can come in here, start a new coin up here, and within probably 12 seconds once you're logged in, be able to create a new coin and not even cost you any money. So this is the absolute degenerate side of the trenches. And honestly, I mean, one, we're not going to be focusing on Pumpfun in this video, but two, it's so crazy that I feel like you might even be better off waiting for things to get out of Pumpfun into the Dex Screener realm. So like the porridge is too hot in Pumpfun, the porridge is too cold on Binance and other centralized exchanges. And the just right, the Goldilocks porridge in the middle is Dex Screener. I'm going to show you a lot about that in this video. But Adam on Twitter summarizes it quickly. He says the Pump.Fun trenches is a slaughterhouse. That's actually the best way to describe it. In the last 24 hours, there were over 16,000 tokens launched on Pumpfun. Only 175 made it to Radium, and making it to Radium in this sense is making it onto Dexcrin and making it live on the blockchain, which, I mean, that is not a good ratio. You don't want to go and gamble here because there's not very many tokens that make it out alive. If you're a professional, you know what you're doing, or you're just an absolute degenerate and you want to go throw some money away or have some fun, go over to Pumpfun. However, we are going to be focusing on the middle, the Goldilocks zone of these trenches, Dex Screener. Now, if you're a normie, your retail money, and you don't want to evolve your thinking, you don't want to get up the news cycle and make more money, well then stay over here on the centralized listings, because this is where you can see the crazy amount of volume is done. And there's not just one centralized listing. I'm just using Binance as an example, but you got Binance, Bybit, Coinbase, OKX, BitGet, Kraken, KuCoin, MEXC. This is basically the on-ramp. So if you're ever going from US dollars or Australian dollars or whatever French shekels that you use in your country, these are the operation choke point where you need the license, you need to be fully run in order to get money on, which is where a lot of normies start, because this is the easiest way to get money into crypto. And you can see because of that, the mainstream, there's going to be insane amounts of volume here. But what's the downside of this? Well, this is Coinbase, 17,000 assets that Coinbase is tracking. But how many can you buy on Coinbase? 270. You're super limited to the assets that Coinbase decide to list. And by the time Coinbase decide to list them, they've already done the 37,000 X's. You know, it's been through the trenches. It's been through Pumpfun. It's been through Dex Screener. And it's the real survivors and thrivers, the one that have made it to centralized exchange listings like Coinbase and like Binance. They're the winners. But look at this, coin market cap. There's over 2.4 million cryptos, and only 270 is tradable on a centralized exchange. This is where we're missing out. This is where we don't have access to the best part of the trenches, which, if we come back to this, is the Goldilocks zone here on Dex Screener. I feel like Dex Screener is one of the best ways to find new tokens. I'm going to give you some criteria that I look for, some heuristics, some filters to go through and find your own best tokens. And we're going to start with what I believe is the most important, which isn't the nitty gritty. How do you apply a filter? Make sure it's got enough volume, make sure it's got enough liquidity that is being locked up so it's not going to rug pull on you. We'll get to that in a second. But the bigger, higher level overview that you really need to know is you need to spend your time and energy knowing what the meta is. What is currently cool, what is currently not cool. It's like if you scroll TikTok, you're going to start seeing TikTok trends. And if you post into one of those trends, your video is going to do extremely well because that is what's cool and what's known and what everyone's vibing at the moment. But if you're starting to post the Harlem Shake, which was, I don't know, 10 years ago and way before TikTok even existed, and you try and post it on TikTok, I mean, one, it might do really well because it's like everyone's like, wait, what the hell is going on here? This guy's a little bit out of the loop. But if you're not posting within the current meta, the current trends, and you're not buying tokens within the current meta and current trends, you're going to lose all your money. So I want to go through a few trends that have come and gone, and then I'm going to tell you about the current trends to look for, just so you can sort of like, catch on to the sort of the rhythm of the market and then keep looking out for what's new and what's upcoming. So what was really hot a while ago were misspelled names. So this is Donald Trump, obviously talking about Donald Trump. You can see this was back in March, and this ran up inside the trenches. I don't think this ever got listed on a centralized exchange. From Feb 28th, it ran from a $1 million market cap up to 100, and then had a massive pullback, and then ran straight back up here to $166 million market cap. And then you had like Joe Biden or something like that. All the misspelled names of celebrities ran into the hundreds of millions of market cap. If you try and do that now, though, that's not what is currently going on. A more recent trend, which is obviously not in anymore, you can tell by this graph here, were like just crazy emojis, flickering, sort of Pumpfun vibes, where it's going to give you an absolute epileptic fit if you look at it too long. You can see originally that this was a Pumpfun token, but this went up to the $52 million market cap, and this was like the emoji meta. Now, a meta that's still going on, and it's really important to stay in touch with, especially if you are big on social media and you use a lot of social media. This could be the meta that you sort of jump into. So this is Chill Guy. Now, Chill Guy had a massive run up from obviously zero. You can see down here, contract address, it was originally a Pump.Fun token. It ran up to a $800 million market cap. This is where you get those crazy 10,000x pluses. And this is the one where my friend in the gym who actually put me onto the token, we made a decent amount of money in last night. And he was showing me this at a $1.5 million market cap. And I didn't get it because I'm not on TikTok. I don't get those. I don't know why this is funny or entertaining in any way. It seemed very rudimentary and very simple. I'm like, I don't get this. But because I didn't get it, it cost me a nice 700 or 500x on my money. And the TikTok trenches are basically what's going crazy on TikTok, what's getting all the views on TikTok, what are the eyeballs over there. Launch it as a meme coin and be like, guys, this has 100 million views on TikTok. Of course, this is going to be big. Wait for the normies on TikTok to catch up, figure out there's a token, come and buy it, and buy your bags at 10 times higher than you bought them for. Another token, which did really well recently, was Luigi Mangione, which was the killer of the healthcare CEO. And this I'll put under the meta of scandalous. Like, even when Andrew Tate was launching his token and he put the N-word in there and there's just like politically incorrect stuff, like this is obviously named after a murderer, and the fact that his name was Luigi was also the humor in this, because it's quite a fun, like a novelty sort of name. Sorry, your Luigi's out there, but it's not something you come across that often. And so this did really well because it's like a scandalous sort of thing to be having a guy who murdered another guy get to a $60 million market cap. Another one that I find is an ongoing meta, and if you ever see something like this, I feel like it can do really well. This is Slurf. And I put this in the injustice sort of meta, where Slurf is funny because the original people who they all did a pre-sale and they got into this token, and they were going to launch it back in March when the market was really hot. This was going to be the next $100 million sort of token. But for everyone who put money into the pre-sale, the guy locked the contract and they couldn't access the funds from the pre-sale, and the project went live, and none of the people who put the money in, I think they raised like $20 million or something, could actually get their allocation of the token. And the rest of crypto Twitter was just like, well, let's run that up to $1 billion then, because everybody who thought they were going to make money can't. And it's like that hilarious, weird injustice. Another meta, which Murad has pointed out recently, is the tokens that get funnier the higher they go. So this is Fartcoin, which has been around since October, funny enough. So you got some resistance here at about the 300 mil market cap, pulled back to the 180, 170, and has crossed $1 billion. And it's like, this is the classic, it's Christmas time, people are going home. Who wants to go home to their family and tell them they've made $1 million off something called Fartcoin while the rest of their family had worked the whole year to make $80,000 or $120,000? It's funnier the higher it goes. And if this gets to a $10 billion or $100 billion market cap and it's like Fartcoin, you just roll, like, of course it's called Fartcoin. The things that get funnier, the higher they go. The current meta, and the one that I made 15 grand off, and it still seems to be going up at the moment, is wholesome meta. So this guy up here, this very humble looking nice guy who is an old school gold and silver trader who thought he would dabble in the meme coin industry, and made unicorn fart dust, a very like authentic feeling guy who live streams twice a day. I got in here at about a $20 million market cap, or maybe a $22 million market cap, thanks to my friend shooting me the text yesterday being like, this is the next big thing. And it's done a very nice run up, currently sitting at a $87 million market cap. But the wholesome thing is this guy's normally investing in gold. He's normally investing in silver. If you watch his videos, you can just be like, oh, this guy has no idea about meme coins. It's a fair launch. There are no inside traders. It's everything that's so wholesome. He's called it unicorn fart dust because he saw Fartcoin do one and he's like, let me try launching a meme. And it's just like, oh, again, this will fall into the category of it gets funnier the higher it goes. Now, this actually wasn't the only token that I profited on in the trenches, and I want to show you what else I profited on, not the flex in your face, because I don't even think it's a decent amount of money that I've made, but I want to show you how the trenches work, because you have a token that does well like unicorn fart dust, and then what happens, and this happened to Peanut as well. Remember, you had Peanut the squirrel, and then you had every other farm animal, Fred the raccoon, Cheyenne the horse, everything else from that freedom farm, that all those other animals started popping up, and those tokens did really well too. I believe Fred the raccoon got to $150 million market cap. So this token here, unicorn fart dust, from this lovely man who launched the token, had derivatives pop up, and this is Jasper His Cat, and this went from obviously zero, it starts at zero, to a $3.25 million market cap. It's pulled back and it's about $1.7 million market cap. This is a token named after his cat because he put his cat on the live stream. I believe he said something like he's overwhelmed by the reception that his tokens got. He introduced his cat and someone's like, oh, I'll tell you what else would be funny if we made a meme coin over his cat. So I, fortunately, thanks again to my friend who's deep in these trenches and deep in the meta more than I am. I want to spend more time in there because honestly, like Luke Belmar said, if we really lock in over the next 3 months and we can trade these trenches, you can come away with 7 figures, some people even 8 figures if you really know what you're doing. And so I want to make more and more videos on this to help you guys go from those centralized exchanges that you might be trading on now. Maybe you are trading on some DEXs, maybe you trade on ETH, maybe you trade on Solana, but I want to help you get into these tokens where, yes, there is a lot more risk down here. That's the whole point. There's a lot more risk, and that means there's a lot more reward. So most of us in these trenches, probably including me, will lose money long term. 90% of people in the trenches are going to lose money, but the 10% who make it, they're the ones who really make it. And so if that's your risk appetite, I highly recommend getting skilled at these trenches. So I'm going to give you a quick overview on how to trade these tokens, what to look for, apart from narrative, because I do think what I just walked you through, those narratives, is the most important thing. But this is how you can sort some of these tokens and go through them yourself. So the biggest thing that I like to trade is Solana. That's the meta at the moment. The bigger meta, you got the small narrative metas inside the big meta. The big meta is Solana tokens. Base was hot for a while, but it's very much turned back to Solana. And so you want to come into Dex Screener and you want to separate the wheat from the chaff, the absolute terrible coins that are going to rug pull you, to the ones that could be that next massive narrative to hit that $100 million market cap. So you can see that the token photo is here on the left, the token ticker and name is here, the price of the token, how long the token's been around for, how many transactions have happened, the amount of volume the token's done. Don't worry about the makers. How the token's performed over a 5-minute, 1 hour, 6 hour, and 24 hour period, how much liquidity is there, and then how big the current market cap is. And remember, if we sort by market cap, you get Santa Trump. I think this might not even be a real thing. I think this could be a scam that they've propped up there. $17 billion market cap. I do think Cat AI, I know that was the trending token. This is the thing, guys. You have to come through and sort out which ones are real, which ones are not. But for example, if we come down far enough, you see something like Fartcoin, which we know has a $928 million market cap, which could be really good. Here's Chill Guy again at a $215 million market cap. But again, these are the ones that seem to have already run. If you invert it here and you go down to the hundreds of thousands of market cap or the tens of thousands of dollars of market cap, this is where, if you can find Peanut down here and get that 37,000x, you're going to be doing insanely well. Now, I do actually highly recommend, I have another video here on YouTube where I talk about the filters that I apply. The more I'm trading in the trenches, the less filters I'm actually trying to apply, because I want to be doing most of the work in my head. I don't want to miss a token because it doesn't quite fit the criteria, because there's also, unlike Pumpfun, way less tokens popping up on Dex Screener. So you should be able to look at every token that is popping up and really get a feel for it. So if you are going to apply filters, I recommend you put in $10,000 of liquidity to make sure that there's enough liquidity to buy and sell these tokens. There's not some shady stuff going on. The maximum hours that the pair's been around, I'm going to go 24, because we only want to see the tokens that were created today. I mean, if you're in the trenches every day, which if this is something you're taking seriously, you probably should be, you only want to see the ones that are popping up. You can even change that down to 6 hours or so to make sure, or 1 hour or so to make sure you're seeing them as they're coming online. And yes, this does take a lot of energy. This does take a lot of effort, but if you can put in the more energy and effort and be smarter than everybody else, I mean, you saw the guy turn, what was it, $250 into $2.3 million. There's no ceiling to the amount of money. There is obviously a ceiling at some point to the amount of money you can make here. The last filter I'd put in, it used to be 5-minute transactions to make sure that there's volume and people buying and selling the coin. But the problem with that is there's a lot of bots and snipers who are coming in and pumping up the amount of transactions. I come down to 5-minute volume. So they actually have to trade volume from their wallet. So you know that they're less likely to be bot and it's more likely to be legitimate volume. I'd come down and put in a minimum of $10,000 of volume because honestly, I think volume is the number one thing I look for when a token's running or not. Now, I am going to sort by inverse market cap, so it's lowest to highest because, again, there's a couple of ways to do this. You can just look for a quick 5x down here. If you find something at a $52,000 market cap, and you can see this is fighting Unicorn Cat, which is a derivative. Remember, the meta at the moment is the unicorn fart dust, so people are making those derivatives. But this doesn't have to do crazy well. This doesn't have to get to a mil, 10 mil, 100 mil market cap and then get listed on Binance. If you can get into the narrative before everybody else, you can get, you can go from 50K to 250K market cap, and you can turn $1,000 to $5,000. You can 5x it down here. It doesn't have to be the next big thing. However, if you are finding the next big thing, it doesn't really matter at what market cap in these trenches you get it at. You could get something, even unicorn fart dust, the one I'm in, I'm still holding. Like, it might not be a bad buy if this thing goes to that 100, 200, 250 billion dollar level. It's probably still not a terrible buy, but you want to come through and sort out which tokens you think are good. All right, so let's click on a token and then apply a second layer of filtering to see if it's what I personally think is a good or bad token. Remember, come and apply your own criteria. I'm going to give you the start of something just by talking you through what I am seeing. So the first thing I always look at is market cap. How early are we in the narrative? And then you can come and change the scale of this graph by the time that you want each candle to represent. So say I want each candle to represent 5 minutes, you can see the 5-minute graph here. Now this actually hit a $3 million market cap, which is not a terrible thing. It shows that there is potential upside, and obviously farts is the meta right now. The strategic fart reserve is funny because they're thinking of doing a strategic Bitcoin reserve for the US. And then there was news today that they might not be doing the strategic Bitcoin reserve. So if they're not going to do that, maybe they'll use their strategic fart reserve. It really is just like contra trading of just like what's funny, what's hilarious, and a little bit of injustice. It's like everyone wanted the strategic Bitcoin reserve, but if we can't get that, let's blow something like this up. But it's had a massive pullback down to a $200,000 or $130,000 market cap, which is not necessarily bad. It means all the people who are early, all the people who are making money have sold off their profit, and you can come in and see the holders, because this is another thing you want to check. You want to make sure that there's not anyone holding more than a couple % of the supply, because if they dump it once again, which you can see there were probably some big sellers down here which started to tank the graph. If they dump that, well then this thing's going to absolutely go to zero. And again, this is not something that I think would do a really well long term, but I'm like, okay, if it's already hit a 3 mil market cap, it's had a massive pullback, most of the early people are out, it could do decently well. You come down here and you can see it was a Pumpfun token. Now, Pumpfun tokens are normally good because it means that all of the dilution is normally out there, so they're not going to be able to print or mint more tokens. The other thing is it means that liquidity is probably locked, so they can't rug pull this because it's in a smart contract that they can't sell. The volume here is another thing I like to check, because the last thing you want to invest in is a dead token, and this has got $8.8 million of volume in 24 hours. This is how you know we're in a bull market, guys. This is an impressive amount of volume. I can switch it over to 1 minute candle so you can sort of see the direction that we're going, which it looks like it's found some resistance down here. If you do any technical analysis, you can apply it to the graph like this. I'm not a big technical analysis guy. I like more of a narrative, getting in before everybody else. The last thing I want to show you with the holders too is if you come down and you scroll and you see people have the exact same percentage holding, like 0.45, 0.45, 0.45. This one's not too bad because there's only 3 of them, but some people like to snipe their own token when they launch it with multiple wallets and get just small amounts of the token so they can sell it without thinking that one of the big whales at the top is going to sell it. That is also sometimes very alarming. So you want to find a token that doesn't do that. Okay, so now how do we actually buy these tokens? And you can see the strategic fart reserve has actually had a nice 50%, almost 50% gain since we've been here. It's up 40% in the last 5 minutes. So we don't want to miss out. How would I personally buy this? Well, this is where I'm really excited to announce something, because for the last 6 months, we've been working on a way to make it so easy, so simple, so intuitive, and so fast to buy any Solana token without having to wait till it hits a centralized exchange. And as of literally last week, and this is the first time I'm really publicly promoting it in a YouTube video, we have launched Archie AI, which is the fastest and best way to trade millions of crypto tokens on the Solana blockchain. And I'd super appreciate it if you come over to archiebot.ai. We'll link it in the description below, so you make sure you're at the right website. Download Archie AI, which is just a simple Telegram app. And we've embedded a Solana wallet into your Telegram app, so you can very intuitively buy and sell Solana tokens. I'm going to show you exactly how to do that in a second. Now, once you click that download Archie AI button, it's going to take you to the walkthrough process where you can set up your wallet, fund your wallet with Solana tokens. If you're having any problems, come down to Archie support down here. So if you missed where I clicked on the website, the fine print up here, and then to Archie support, where I'm personally literally in there, and we have 3 other team members. We are on a Australian time zone, so we may not answer immediately, but we have a live chat where we can help you fund your wallet. We can help any problems with the Archie bot. And so we're literally ironing out every single feature. If you have feature requests, we want to build this with you. We want this to be the best way, built together as a community, that anyone can trade tokens on Solana. Okay, so once you have your Archiebot installed and funded, once again, if you need any help with that, go to that live help where we're literally there helping you. You can see this is the homepage of Archiebot, where it's got your portfolio, your net worth. To buy a token, any of these tokens on Dex Screener, like we've had a nice pullback here on Strategic Fart Reserve. Again, I'm not recommending anyone buy this token. I'm showing you this just so you know how to buy and sell tokens. Copy the link of the contract address, come over to your Archiebot and simply click on buy. Now, once you click on buy, you can paste right here the contract address. You can also search the name of the contract in this bar if you want, but the easiest way is just to paste the contract address from something like Dex Screener. You can see it's going to pull all the information there. If you want to double check it's the right one, you can go to Dex Screener. And guys, look how intuitive and easy this is to buy a token. So these are a little bit too high to buy a crappy token like this that I'm just using as an example. But say I want to buy 0.5 Solana worth, I simply click enter there, and Archie goes and confirms that on the blockchain, and we'll add it inside the Archie wallet right there. And just like that, you can see we literally bought $102 worth of strategic fart reserve. We can come back to our HQ, we can go over to our portfolio and see it in there with our other holdings. So you can see up here, strategic fart reserve, we hold 0.492 Solana. And literally guys, it's that easy and that intuitive to buy any of these tokens at any time. Now, Archie is launched a week ago and he still is in beta mode. So we would really appreciate if you could come and test him for your buying and selling. If you've appreciated this channel, if you've got a lot from anything that I've done, I would highly appreciate you just to throw a couple of Solana in and start trading some of these trenched tokens using Archie and give us all your feedback. Because once again, this is a project we're going to be taking very seriously and building throughout this bull market with you. And we want to build it around your needs and around your desires. So all feedback is welcome. All features, we've got some really awesome features coming up. We also have a giveaway, which we have to get greenlit by our lawyer because we're an officially licensed Australian exchange where we have everything above board, but we have to go through our legal team. So we're making sure we can do a giveaway, but we're trying to give away $10,000 worth of meme coins to one of the early Archie users who have their wallets funded and have made a transaction. So to qualify for that, pending legal approval, which I'm guessing will get approved, go over to archiebot.ai, click download Archie AI and set up your wallet, and please let me know how it is. In fact, we're going to be doing a lot with Archie on this channel. We're going to be doing some meme coin trading challenges where we'll take something like 10 Solana and try to trade it up to 1,000 Solana together. So if you want to play along at home, make sure you download Archie. Throw in a couple of Solana, start trading, start getting used to it, start understanding the trenches, start learning the metas, learning the narratives, getting ahead of the news cycle. And once again, if you need any help at any time, go into the Archie live support chat. Thank you so much for watching. Plenty more awesome videos to come. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. I'll see you in the next video.